Hi guys, Lucy aka the Watchbox Diaries here with another video for you. Now today's is kind of about the Rolex Explorer and kind of not. The Explorer is an absolutely iconic release from Rolex, but what happens if it's a little bit out of your price range, you just can't get a hold of one because you don't have history with an AD, or you're just not a big fan of Rolex as a brand? Guys, I've got you covered. I'm going to be reeling off a couple of alternative options that I think give off a very similar vibe to the Rolex Explorer. Now, rules I have set myself, it needs to sit between 35 and 38 millimeters. Price-wise, it's got to sit around that 6K mark or below. It needs to have similar specifications and it needs to have that Explorer vibe. Now let's get started. You guys should know by now that I am a little bit of a Grand Seiko fangirl, so this list obviously had to contain one. I have gone for the SVGR 253G, which comes in at £3,500. This 37mm piece is perfectly simple. That clean black dial mixed with that simple yet impactful Zaratsu polishing of a classic Grand Seiko. Adore. It comes with 100 meters of water resistance, an open case back if you love looking at the movement, which I definitely do, and accuracy rating, it comes in at +5, -3 seconds per day, which is pretty spot on. Cons wise, not that many. It doesn't have any lume on it, so if you wanted to use it as a more of a tool watch, then you're going to be lacking the lume. 19mm lug width is just annoying, and it doesn't have micro adjust, but you can switch it out for a strap option. As a left field but still very cool option, I have gone with the Cartier Santos, which comes in at £6,750. It is a super simple time-only white dialed watch that's just square instead of round. Size-wise, it comes in at 41.9 by 31.1 millimeters, so it wears very similar to the 36mm Explorer. I love an alternative option and something that's a little bit different. And to me, this is everything that you get in the Explorer, minus the lume, but in a slightly left field choice in terms of it being a square watch, so it's a little bit different. But it has this sports element and also you can dress it up as well, so kind of good for every day. Cons wise, if you're after a black dial, obviously this is a white dial, so there's going to be an issue there, and it also doesn't have lume, as I mentioned. There isn't micro adjust, but they have included a toolless link change system, so you can change up the links while you're out and about on the go. My third option comes from Longine. It is the Spirit 37, which retails for £2,250 Great British pounds. Now, I fully appreciate this watch. I love this watch. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this video because I did do a full review previously, which I will link in the description below. It is a super simple, very legible design with 100 meters of water resistance. It comes in 3 different colorways, all very neutral. I really do like the blue one. And it's just a very, very solid, well-made watch, in my opinion. Next up, we have the IWC Pilot's Watch 36, which retails for £5,050. Pretty random amount, but fine. This has a black dial, just like the Explorer, and is just as legible. The indices and the hands are really bright and very clear, so you can easily tell the time. Kind of important considering it's a pilot's watch, so, you know. Unlike a couple of the other options I've suggested, this does come with lume, and I also am a big fan of the bracelet that it comes on. I think it just works really nicely. I forget the date all the time, so I do like to have a date on my watch. It's not essential, but I like to have it there. And this particular watch comes with the additional, very discreet date function. Cons-wise, it only comes with 60 meters of water resistance, another random number, and only 42 hours of power reserve. If this is going to be your daily wear, it doesn't matter so much, but if not, just be prepared to set it every time you pick it up. Next up is the Panerai Luminor Dew, which retails for £6,000. I bet you didn't ever think I would recommend a Panerai. I mean, surprised myself. This particular one comes in at 38mm, which is a refreshing change from the absolutely massive alternative options in their catalogue. They just look ridiculous on my wrist. I am a big fan of this anthracite grey, black sunburst dial. It's very simple, but still has a little something extra. It just gives a little pop while you're out in the sunshine. This stainless steel piece has 3 days of power reserve, which is pretty impressive. It also has fantastic lume and the addition of a date function. I think of this watch as more of a tall watch aesthetic, but in a dress watch build. Yeah, I think that's the best way of describing it. My biggest gripe with this watch, personally, is the fact that it has a huge crown guard on the side, and ironically only comes with 30 meters of water resistance. So I realise that it's just their thing, but yeah, it's confusing. This list would not be complete without an input from Christopher Ward. I am becoming more and more of a fan of this brand the more that they release, but the option that I have chosen today is their Sealander C63, which retails for £830. This one obviously has a black dial. They have so many other colour variations. You can treat them like Pokemon, you know, just catch them all. Those super sharp indices just give such clear legibility, and it also comes with an additional date function, which, as I said before, is an additional tick for me. The lume on this thing is great. It comes with 150 meters of water resistance. It uses the Sellita SW200-1 movement, which is an absolute workhorse and means that repairs and replacements are going to be pretty inexpensive compared to other brands. And probably the biggest pro to this watch is the fact that not only does it come with a quick release bracelet or strap, it also has micro adjust, which I know is a massive, massive winner for a lot of people. There are a couple of honourable mentions that I would feel rude not including in this list. First of which would be the Smiths Everest PRS 25. Now this is the perfect entry-level, budget-friendly edition from such a darling brand. It's 36mm, fantastic specifications, but I have not included it because it's kind of a homage, so it's not allowed in. I've decided. I also cannot put this list together without mentioning the Tudor Black Bay 54. They retail for £3,200 on the bracelet. They do also have a rubber strap option, which I actually prefer personally. The only thing that stopped me purchasing one is the fact that the gilt is just very intense and I'm not about that life. This watch is 37mm of pure heritage. The Black Bay 58 range is obviously iconic, and the Itty Bitty Wrist Committee rejoiced when they decided to release a slightly smaller version. Thank you, Tudor. This is great specs, clear legibility, and fantastic quality, all wrapped up in a beautiful, beautiful bow. The only reason that this watch has not made the actual cut is the fact that it's the sister company to Rolex, so I'm not allowing it. And that is it for me. Those are my alternative options to the 36mm Rolex Explorer. Now I want to hear from you. What did you think of my options, and do you have any alternatives that are better? Drop them down below in the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. As always, a huge thank you for tuning in. If you want to support the channel, then make sure you have liked and subscribed to all the YouTubey things. And if you want to be notified of my upcoming videos, then make sure you turn on the little bell and YouTube will do its thing. Until then though, bye guys.